Hello, hi guys. My name is Sia. Hello, hi guys. So let's begin on this session. So I'll just start with this basic thing. What we have to know about this, what you need before you start. I'll start about from me. I'll just know this is the agenda, like brief, some history about ASP.NET. It came from, how far it came here, and then next step is like how come like we build these cross-platform applications. And then before everything, I'll just tell you about me. This is my name, Ismail, and I am a tech lead at Tech Corporation. And this is my company. I'll just show you here, www.tech.com. Yeah. So this is the place I work. Sorry. And next thing is Microsoft MVP for Visual Studio and Technologies. So this is my profile here on Microsoft. It says Visual Studio and Development Technologies. It means everything on Visual Studio. For example, ASP.NET, C#, PHP, anything runs on Visual Studio, anything runs on an Azure. So that's my technical expertise. So first award in 2007, and then it's like 11 years continuously. It's like I got this award. So that part is from that. And again, apart from this, I am a community leader on Sri Lanka.NET Forum, .NET Forum. So we have been doing sessions for like 11 years now. Also, I'll be speaking on, after this session, if you like interested, I'll be speaking on Dev Day. We're having one, like from our company, we're having on this cinnamon brand. I'll be speaking on Azure Application Insights. That will be on 9th. So just show you. Is it okay? 9th. So if you're interested, you can just be there. Also, there are lots of speakers will be there. So that's it from me. Yeah, that's it. So let's begin. If you want to start. So how do we start it? We'll start from scratch. Mainly you will need Visual Studio. I'll just show you. This is my Visual Studio installation. It's like about Visual Studio. Currently I have this build 15.3.5. It's Visual Studio Enterprise Edition. You don't need the Enterprise Edition. You can just download it from here. I'll just go here, visualstudio.com. So you have all this information here. You can just download the IDE. The Community Edition will be enough if you don't have a license for like Professional or Enterprise Edition. Community Edition is like more than enough for your work. Also, if you don't want to use this Community Edition, you can use as Visual Studio Code as well. It's a lightweight editor, but it do the same. But if you're using a Windows machine, it's better you get the Community Edition at least. Right? So you can download Visual Studio, whatever the editions here, whatever thing here, you can download and install it. And again, yeah. So I just tell you about brief history about this ASP.NET thing. So it started as Classic ASP. Now we are calling it Classic ASP. Normally we used to call it Active Server Pages. That's why it's called ASP. Then normally we did only using VB script, or some people used like JScript. This is not JScript, means it's not JavaScript. It's like a JavaScript syntax from Microsoft. They had it. This is the Microsoft version of JavaScript, but I don't know what's happened to that. But it's still, we use VB script for active server pages. That's a different thing. And then it evolved. When the .NET framework came in, it evolved into ASP Plus. And then they came up with this name called ASP.NET. At the beginning, ASP.NET had just had a system, a template called web forms, because most of the people are used to these kind of things. I'll just show it to you. Most of them are Visual Basic programmers. It's like if you go to Microsoft project, just hit C# and it will say, where is it? Classic Windows application, Windows Forms app. Set OK. It's a classic application. I'll just say yes. I'll just save it under documents. Especially 2017 here. Just save it. Now I have this project. As you know, this is a Windows form, and you can just drag drop buttons, toolbox, and you have it here. Where is the button? Button. Yeah, here's it. Just button, you have a button, you just double click it, and you have an event driven system. Because button click, you can write anything you want. For example, message box box.show. It's an event driven thing, and it works fine here. If you just execute it, you have it here. Like from this kind of environment they came from first. So Microsoft has introduced these web forms. It's similar to that. On here, if you just go here, the file new project, and you have web and web applications, and you click OK. Yes, you have options. This is the first thing they had, the web forms. It looks like Windows forms, and you can drag drop things from the toolbox, and you can write programs. It's an event driven thing. Event is like, for example, you have a button here. Button. Event is a click. You click the button, what will happen? You have to write the code. That's the event driven thing. But basically, that's the idea of event driven programming. So all those Windows Forms programmers came to these web forms easily because of this information. Sorry, because of this template. It goes to web template. It's similar to that. Same thing. Just create a web template. So it's take a while. Okay, it's creating my web application. It's a web forms application. And if you see here, you have the solution file here where it has web config and it has a global ASX file and it has everything, and it's a default SPX file. You just double click on it. You have this source. That means it's an HTML. As you are familiar with HTML. And if you go to design window, you have a design window as well. And again, you have a toolbox. You have a button similar to the Windows form. That means people from those classic KSP, and then for these Windows application developers, classic Windows application developers, they are like easily convert to this web form because they are familiar with this event driven system. If you I just show it to you, just drag button here or double click it. Again, is similar. Protected void, button click, you write anything, maybe a label or whatever it is. You can create a label, is same thing. It works on, you can drag drop a label as well. Here, just drag drop a label, and then you go back to the C# file, label 1.text. This best, simple as that, right? So event driven system. If you go to properties, again you have this all these event. If you click the default SPX, you have the button and click. These events are there, so it's familiar for the Windows application developers easily. Then this evolved into two separate things. Then they introduced Microsoft MVC. So ASP.NET MVC was introduced after that. Web Forms Plus, they had ASP.NET MVC. MVC is a design pattern. It stands for model. M is for model, and V for view, and C is for the controller. So model view controller pattern. Now this one, after the web forms, this one got popular, very popular, because it's like easy to use, and most of the common problems we had with web forms, like for example, dividing designs from the code. They have a code separation here. For example, here we have this design HTML, but again you have a code behind file. But still there are some things you write inside. For example, you write something here. This is escaping from the normal HTML. If you want something from C#, so just here we just put these parentheses like, and then date time here you can write C# code. Simple as that. But when the MVC introduced, just new project, I'll just go here, new project, file, new project, web again, web application. Okay, I'll just save it. You select MVC. Now they have given a default template called MVC template. You just hit OK. Everything is happening by default. You just keep the defaults. If you see it here, now it's still preparing the files. Now, if you go to Solution Explorer, it's totally different scenario here. You get the web config, but there are no default ASPX or any other thing. But you have 3 separate folders called controllers, models, and views. It has a controller folder and it a view folder, and it has this models folder. For example, if you go to this controller folder, you have this by default home controller without any issue. Right now, if you go to here, inside a controller, it's a normal public class but inherited from a controller. Again, it has public methods. A return type, it looks like normal class. For example, if I go inside a model, I create a class, add class. I'm going to say class, I'm going to say okay. I'll just give an example, student. Again, it has a public class. You have that's public string, say hello. Done. I'm gonna say hello world. So it's a normal public class. It has a public method. It is similar. If you go to this controller, home controller, you have a class. It says home controller, but only difference is its inheritance from the controller base class, and it has public methods. When you execute this, you see it. I'll just execute it. Runs on Microsoft Edge, the default browser. Doesn't matter which browser, but it can work on with any or even Chrome. Here, if you see here, it executes. You have this local host. This is a port. It defaults selected from the browser. For example, this is the IIS Express running on. Now, so normal MVC application, you click home, about, see the URL, home, about. Basically, this is the controller name and this is the action name. Action means this part, the controller name and the action name. Is normally what it does happen is when the user calls this URL, it goes to this home controller and it executes this page. And this page is, go to view, it's a view. See, so you can just say, okay, I just changed this and I save it. And I go back to my browser, I just refresh it. Here, you got it here. So it executes this HTML. What happens is if I debug this one, home controller, you click here, you refresh it. Stops here. That means home, about. Now this is called routing, but if I explain this will be out of scope for my session today. But if you understand it, it's normally it calls this controller and then calls this method. This is the result type is the action result, right? This is the next step they had with MVC. Now the MVC version is they have is version 5, right? This is they stopped and then a new thing came in. Called a system called Dotnet Core. Dotnet Core. It's a cross-platform open source .NET framework. This is not the full-blown .NET framework. .NET framework is a different same thing, but it runs on Windows. This one, from the scratch they built it. This is the base. Now we have for us ASP.NET Core and all these core applications that runs on Linux and Windows and Mac OS. It doesn't matter where it runs because of this .NET Core. I'll show you how to get it. If you just go to this browser, I'll just go here. You said www.net and you just /co. Just zoom it on. Here it says .NET Core. Now we have it here, just press enter. You see it here, they have like different versions you can download, right? It has Windows, Linux and Mac and Docker. Windows, Linux. Windows, now if you go to Linux, you have different Linux versions as well. It has Red Hat, Ubuntu, Debian, Fedora, or CentOS, SUSE. All these flavors. Now my target is like introducing like how to work on Linux on Ubuntu. It's the same method. You click Ubuntu. I have here, if you see, this is my Ubuntu installation. It's running on VMware Workstation. If you go to VMware Workstation, you just search it, vmware.com, and products, you just go to products and you have it here called the products workstation. Is it? Or you just go downloads and Workstation Player. You have to get this one. It's free. You can download, you can create your virtual machines without any issue, right? You can just install it. This version, it's free. You just download it and install it, and you can just download any desktop or any installation, and you can just work with like this. Or if you're using Windows 10, Windows 10 comes with the Windows Store. If you just store on Windows Store, you just search for Ubuntu. You have it here. Now you can download from Ubuntu. It runs. It's not a virtual machine. You can just download it as an app. It runs a full Ubuntu version, like you have this virtual machine. But I created this virtual machine. The main thing is this version is like a server version. I used to get this the desktop version. I just show it to you. This is my desktop version. I just hit my password here. I just close everything. Close. Just clear. So rm for .NET. I create another folder called mkdir.net 2. Right? So I have already installed .NET here. If you just type on my Ubuntu shell, you can get it from here. Just click this one, type terminal. You have the terminal here. Just click it. You have it. So just close this one. Now I have this terminal. Just press .NET version. I have current version of 2.0. How do you get it here? This is simple. You just go to your browser. You just go to .NET/core. And you select Linux. And you select Ubuntu. Now there are some instructions. You just go to this instruction. These two instructions. This curl and this thing, the Microsoft package, you have to first download it and install it, and then you have to install it into the repository. Now here you will see there are different versions. This is Ubuntu 17, 17.40, 16. How do you know which version you have here when you install on your Ubuntu machine? It's simple. You just go to here, lsb release A. It says okay, my version is 16.4.3. This is a stable version. You just type it lsb release A and you get this Ubuntu version. This is 16.4. Then you have to copy paste. These things are for these things. These two commands are mandatory for all Ubuntu versions, but here there are change. This is my version 16. I just copy paste it and execute it, and then I hit after executing I said sudo apt-get update, and you hit the password and this will get updated. right? The next step will be, so all the updating the packages. Next step will be the installing the SDK. It's simple. Says do apt get install .NET Sdk 2.0. I have already installed it. After that, then just hit a clear. We can just test it .NET minus double minus version. Then it says 2.0. Now I have everything here. Now I just show it to just a simple console application. You can say .NET new. You can say okay console. So there are three commands: .NET space new console and -o. -o means where I have to like output this thing. I'm going to say hello world. One thing before I just say .NET 2. Now there's nothing in this one. I'll just say okay .NET minus new console application -o or -o. Say hello world app. Just hit it. Now it creates my console application. You see it here. Now we have my console application. It says restore. Now previous versions, these packages didn't restore by default. So on previous version, you have to just after creating this project, you have to just say okay .NET restore. Everything will be now. Sorry. Clear. I just go inside the folder. If you see there is a folder created. Now it's W app. Now you hit .NET restore. Now restore completed. Everything is installed here. Now you have seen two files, one a project file CS project file and a program CS. If you have VIM, this is a built-in Ubuntu, or you can just install it like sudo apt-get /vim. Then it will install the VIM for you. Right? I'll just say VIM program CS. Oops, I don't have it. I'll just say okay. apt-get install VIM. Now you have VIM. It's installing. I just clear. If you can see the screen again, I'm saying VIM. Now we have this normal classic, a normal basic C# program. It says okay, namespace and class program, static void main, and console the right and hello world. Just okay, hit Q. Now next step will be .NET build. Now it will build your project. Now you have .NET build. You see here it says okay. Now we have created a .NET HWDLL file, right? Just create again. Again say .NET run. Now you see hello world. It executes. Say hello world. If you want to write something again, just say VIM program CS. I'm going to say I insert. So I'll go here. I'm going to say console dot write line. I used VIM, and we should use Visual Studio Code. I'll just escape :WQ. That means write and quit. Again, I have to like .NET build. If there's an error, it will show. There's no errors. Now we can say .NET run. Now you should get two lines. Hello world here, VIM. Now, if you go back to Visual Studio, Microsoft Visual Studio, you just go here, just say okay. www.visualstudio.com. Just go to Visual Studio Code and you hit download. You get Windows, again Ubuntu, Linux. You have this Ubuntu and this RPM versions for, and as well as Mac. So I have already downloaded it. After downloading it, you just press, you can type here. If you go to this folder, you have this folder. It has 3 files and uses a code space dot. That means open this folder using Visual Studio Code. It opens. It's a nice little editor. It has all the things you need. It's like Visual Studio. and you have this C# program. I'll just, now you can see it, right? I'll just delete this. Now main thing is, okay, required, don't ask again, just sign in the assets. That means the debug thing. Now at the first time when you install Visual Studio Code, you need to install these extensions. If you go to the extension, this one, C# and OmniSharp, and it automatically installed for debugging as well. You don't have to do anything, you just install them, just say yes and follow the instruction, it will install. Now if I write it here, I just create another variable, just close this one. I'll just say okay, number 10, let's say console number 10 plus plus console. You have this, all this information, all this IntelliSense, all the dot thing, right line, everything is there. It's a nice little editor. Hello, this is number, let's say plus number dot to string. Everything is, the code is also completing. It's very fast, and also you can just click this debug button and then you run inside. It clicks, it gives the output here. So if you see it, you have the output and the versions. This is hello world, and this hello, this is the number level. Okay, what happens here? I'll just close it. It should be, this is, okay, never mind. Now I'll show you another thing. Just you can debug as well. Just again debug. It stops here. It builds. And you have a debug point. If you just mouse over it, this is 10. Right now 10, you just again step over, this is number 11. You have debugging information as well. It's a nice little editor. Without a hesitation, you can use it inside the Ubuntu environment. This is a normal .NET application on Ubuntu. It's the same thing. What you can do is, I'll just show it to you. Just go to this console. Let's just go back. Let's clear. Now I'm going to zip it. R minus R. This is a tool, comes from Ubuntu. You can zip it. It's okay. SW app.zip. I'm going to say SW. And zip. You can see it. Then you go to this file manager. You go to documents. Oops. Where's the documents? Home. You go to projects. .NET 2. Here's my zip file. I just copy it. The good thing on this VMware place, you just copy it and just straight go to your Windows machine and you go to the document, Visual Studio documentation. You just paste it without any issue. You can just paste it. Just extract it. 7-zip, extract this one. Now you have the application here as well. Now from your Visual Studio, just open project. On the documentation, is it this one, and open it. Now you have opened it on Visual Studio on Windows, and you have your code here, what I wrote here. Now you just execute it. I'll just enter another code here, console read line, so it will wait for the console and you just execute it. Now you have the same thing. Yeah, you wrote it on Ubuntu. Now you brought it back to the Windows and it works fine without any issue, without any code change. It just compiles and it builds. So this is the cross-platform thing on your .NET Core. Now let's have a look at it. And again I go back to my Ubuntu installation. I just clear it out. Now the one thing on Ubuntu is you have to learn things like on the command line. If you just type .NET, it just says okay, this is the version, this is how you use it. If you want any help, just do this. These are the options. That means usage, .NET and help, -- help or -h. whatever you choose. I normally use this one because I used to -- help. I just go okay, .NET help. Now here you have all the information how to use this thing. It says new. Okay, now you have like these are the first options. .NET new. If I want to know something more about .NET new or .NET restore or .NET run, okay, this is .NET new. .NET new. If you want help on new, you just wait. I'll just create. Go back. .NET new, and again you can type the same thing. Help. Now these are the help for .NET new templates. We have templates here. It says okay, console application. It says console. Now as you remember when I started, I just show it to history. .NET. Here, see, it says .NET new console. This is how I used it. .NET new help. Now we have the help. And then after the .NET new, these are the options we have. It says -n, the name, or -o, the output, or install one. You can use these things. So for example, now I'm going to create an ASP.NET web application, MVC, a core application using C#. Right? Let's see how I have to use it. Now, if you remember, it says okay, ASP.NET. You have to use this short name for MVC. I'm going to clear things out. Clear. .NET new MVC output hello MVC. Now you just enter, press enter. Now it again creates and it restores all the packages. By default, it works fine without any issue. If you just create again ls, you have ls here. This is okay. Now we have this hello MVC app. Just go inside it. Hello MVC. Clear this. Now you have all the MVC packages. You have the C# project and you have the www root. I'll just explain it. I'll show it to here as well. It's create the same thing. I'll just put it like this. ls -l, that means list. Now you see the blue color are the folders. It has models and it has controllers and it has views. Same thing if you go back to Windows and you create file new. Oops, I just stopped here. File new project. You're going to select ASP.NET Core Web Application. I'm going to store it here. I'm going to say OK. Okay, save it. If you select, okay, save. Now you have wait for a second. If you see it here, now you have .NET Core listed under this tab. Or if you select .NET Framework, doesn't make any sense because this actually I am not sure why it's happening here, because this dialog box doesn't make any sense for .NET Framework because it's a .NET Framework and .NET Core. I'll just select .NET Core and you have 3 different versions: ASP.NET Core 1, 1.1 and 2.0. I'll just normally select 2. If you select 1.1, you have only these things. I'll just show it to you. Okay, this one. And if you select 2.0, you have these templates as well: Angular, React.js, and Redux. And these 3 templates, you can just start an Angular project on MVC Core 2.0 project. You can just start straight away. And this is a new thing on Core 2. It's called web applications. Oh, these are called the Razor pages. Different thing called the Razor pages is stored. You can just have a look at here and go to www.net site. Just learn and ASP.NET Core learn more, and you getting started. You have all the information you need here for the Razor pages or the .NET Core, right? Well, just my task is like I have to show how to use the MVC part of this thing. I just go back. Just see any questions here. Okay, just go to this page. So I'll just select MVC application for Core 2.0. Okay. Right. Just wait a bit. The good thing about is, if see this structure. It says okay, dependencies, same thing, and then controllers, modules, views, Bower JSON, application settings. If you just click on it, it says okay, this one. If you just go to this Bower JSON file, and it's the same thing, and just go to this startup, you have it here, right? If you go to this Ubuntu installation, it has the same structure, right? I'll just explain the structure here. Now if you see this program startup, this is the startup file. This is everything start to run. This is the program. It's like a console application, but it runs this build web host, and it creates this host. Now in this web host, you just create a default builder with these arguments. Whatever the argument, it says run. Okay, this is use startup. This is the startup file. It's without the startup. This is a mandatory thing. You have to create a startup file for the ASP.NET Core application. Not like this. So if I add another, I add this application, add new project, web, just a normal MVC application. Right. So this is my web application for MVC. If you see, it doesn't have any startup file. It's a normal full .NET framework file. It will run only on IIS. But this one, the blue color one, the web forms application 4, that means this is the .NET Core version 2, ASP.NET one. It runs on macOS, Linux, and Windows. It definitely reads the startup file. If you look at the startup file, it has a configuration. This is the configuration area. This configuration area, these are called middleware, right? This middleware always has a queue. That means it's like one by one. It's a serial thing because it's a must. For example, I show it to you here. If we go to this the middleware, I just explain it here. In the middleware, if you see this one, it's called a pipeline. The middleware pipeline sequence is most important one. The pipeline, because I'll just go down here. This is the one. These are the ordering. First, you have to create the exception handling. Like here, the exception handling is here. By default template, you have this exception handling. Or else go to this error page. Any exception throws. This is the first thing, because any exception, if you get the exception handling down here, it will use all these static files, all these MVC things, but the exception, even the exception is thrown, it doesn't do anything. It just throws the exception. It doesn't go to an error page. So every time you create this pipeline, this one is the most important part. This is the first line. Most important, the exception handling. And then we see it here, the next one. The static file server. The static file server means all your HTMLs. It says use static files. It goes here. To use this static file, you need this namespace. All this configuration namespace you need to, because you need the static files, all your HTML files. For example, you have like some CSS files, all the static will go here. That's when it handles here. You have to run this, then it goes under this www root. If you see here, there is no www root. It just scripts controller and it just executes. But here it has this www root. Everything is ordered. It goes under these things: images, JavaScript files, any HTML you have, it will go here. Maybe like, for example, if you like want a landing page, or maybe like okay, a maintenance page, it goes here, an HTML page. This next step. And then next step is the authentication. If you have any authentication, here I don't have any authentication. Where's my thing? If you have any authentication, it comes here. Any OWIN authentication or whatever the authentication things you use, maybe it's an Azure AD authentication, maybe it's like a identity server, whatever the authentication, it should go here. Authentication. And then only you go this start to MVC middleware. Right? MVC middleware means So as it says, the site, it says the ordering is most critical for security, performance and functionality, right? But we are focusing on this one. See, this is okay, exception handler, the static files, the authentication and the MVC thing. Now MVC has here, okay, you have this routing part, the configuration file is there. The next step is the services. Services you can add DMCs. There will be lots of services you can introduce. Services, maybe logging, all those services, and forgery, all these services you can introduce here. There are lots of services. MVC core. So in this one, by default template, you have just the MVC one. Just say this is my project. Now if you go to this controllers, home controller, it's the similar. You have views, home controller, and this index, it returns a view. Okay, let's go back to my Ubuntu installation. I just hit the password again. I'm going to say okay, my password to 0. Now clear. I have my MVC. I'm going to close the browser here. Yeah, no, I just keep it. Just minimize it. And we have my .NET thing. I'm going to create this one. I'm going to say, okay, I'll go back. I create another MVC application. I'm going to say, okay, .NET new MVC output. I'm going to say, let's say movies. So it's creating my project and it's restoring all the packages, the NuGet packages. And I'm going to say, okay, I have my movies. Clear. Everything is new. Now I just say, okay, .NET. I just build once. Everything is building fine. To test this one, it builds. I'm going to say .NET run. This is how you, as the console application, you do the same. You just said, okay, .NET run. Now you see it's compiling, and then if you see it says okay. Now listening to HTTP localhost. Now it has a built-in server called Kestrel. The Kestrel is listening on this port. That means http://localhost 5000. Just go to your browser. Just click. Says okay, localhost 5000. You enter it. Now you have your default application. Let's try to, you can say Control+C, stops. Now you have installed Visual Studio Code here. You just say code space dot. Just okay, you have it here. I'll just expand it for this size. You can see it. Okay, now you can see it. Now inside the controller, you have home controller, same as this one, right? Now what I'm going to do is, just controller, I'm going to add a new file here. Just click this folder. Okay, yeah, add the debug files, and I'm going to add a controller name, new file. I'm going to name it as movies controller. This is as MVC design pattern. You have always the controller name should be end of the file. That's how only the MVC handler knows this is a controller. Then you just press enter. It's a blank file. What I'm going to do is I'm just copy paste this one here. I'm going to paste it. I'm going to delete everything down here. Right. You have this index. So it's not a home controller. I'm going to say it should be the movies controller. Movies controller. Now you can see movies controller. We have an index action result and it returns a view. Now we have our controller. Now let's try it. You can try it from here as debug, or you can use the same thing here on the console. I'm going to say okay, .NET. You can directly run it and it will build and run, or you can just build or run. I just directly run it. Now it's building. Now it's listening to this port. As you see here, I'll just click my browser. Where is it? Okay, this is my browser. It says localhost. If you click about, it goes to about without an issue. Just click. Yeah, it's in about. It says home about. Like that. That means the controller name plus the action. How do you call this movie controller? It says movies/index. So I'm gonna say okay, movies/index. Now look what happens. It says error. There's an error. Development mode. Now you have this error because you don't have any view. That's why it gives this error. If you just, I'm gonna say okay, I'll just show it to you what the actual error is. I'm gonna go to this console. Where's my console? Here. Now look at this console. It says the view index was not found in the console. It says it's looking, where is it looking? Under views movies index.html or under views shared index.html. Right? So this is how you find out how. But in the develop mode, it just show this error, nice little error. But if you go to the console, you have all in the information. If you want to see this here, the same error, what you have to do is you just Control C, you stop it, you go back to your Visual Studio Code, and you go back here, the startup, and if any exception, just hide it or just remark it. Then it you get all the information on your web page. Right? It's better you keep it as it is. And I'm going to create a view under this page, under home. The error message shows okay, views, movies, and index. Then you have to create a folder under here. Just go, just create new folder. I'm going to say okay, movies. Now next step is create a file, new file. It should be index.cshtml. Now I'm gonna just go to this movies and I'm gonna copy and paste this top part. Just go here, copy, and index. I'm gonna paste this one here. So home page, movies. So even though you can just write it, I just created my first MVC app under Ubuntu. Okay, I'll just save it, and I go back to my console, shell, and then .NET run. So now I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna say refresh. My app is running. Just wait a bit. Now it's up and running. I'm gonna say okay, movies index. Now movies index I just create under Ubuntu, right? I just, one more thing I add here, I'll go to my models folder. I create a base model and use it under Windows. New file. I'm gonna say movie.cs. It's a normal using. I'm gonna create same thing here. It should be under namespace. Okay, I'll just copy paste movie. Just click it here, copy paste. Just need this one, system. This is my namespace. I'm gonna say public class movie. Okay, public int id get set, public string title get set So public int year gets it. Now I have created my class. I'm going to save it. Let's see, it's compiling. I'll just stop this one. I'm going to say .NET build. Now I have my ASP.NET application up and running here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just zip it and move it to Windows. I'm going to say zip -r movies.zip movies clear. Now I have my zip file. I'm going to go to my file manager under projects .NET 2. This is my movies. I'm going to copy it. Oops, copy. I'm going to go back to my Windows installation and I just Visual Studio, I paste it here. I'm going to say okay, zip extract to movies. Now I have my movies here and I'm going to go back file, close solution. Yes, I'm going to open project solution, movies, project. So open here. If you solution explorer, it opens. Now it's looking for the dependencies. Here it will be shortly, it will update all the dependencies. Everything is updated. I'm going back to my controllers. Now movies controller is here. I'm going to create another movie controller, public. Also I'm going to use my models here. See movies models. My action result, list, return view. Okay, right mouse. Now this is like all the Visual Studio implementation. Okay. Where's my view? So for this one, I think you need to add this extension for getting all this. I'll just create a list here for scaffolding. Just get back my file. I had another project here. Let's just test here the list return view for the index one. I'll just stop this one. I'm going to execute this one on IIS Express now. It's building without an issue. We just created from our Ubuntu. Now I copy paste it on a Windows machine. Now it runs under Windows. Now movies, about. I just click OK. Movies index. Here now it displays here. We created from Ubuntu. Now on you can just create a view like that. Under scaffolding, you can just create the same thing, or you just pass this one. Public reaction result. List, let's create a movie, new movie. ID +1, title, movie title, year 2017. So it works fine on here. Return. Or you can pass this one in a view bag, or you can just create a strongly typed view here. So that's not my scope today. So I hope you understand how to like work within those two systems. Even the same thing, it works on Mac without any issue. So on Mac, if you want to do something, you have to use Visual Studio Code. There's for Mac version. If you're using Macs, you can just go to Visual Studio and is Visual Studio. Just go to visualstudio.com and download Visual Studio IDE for Mac OS. You get Visual Studio 2000 for Mac. So it has Mac version, same thing, same Visual Studio. You just create, again it runs on .NET Core. It doesn't run on full framework, but it works on .NET Core, right? I hope you understand. I think I'm going to wrap it up today. If you have any questions, let me have a look here. Here's the questions. And just go to my notepad. Okay, seems there's no questions here. Okay, I'll just wrap it up for now. Let's hope so I come up with another in-depth one, using the entity framework core, or whatever the entity framework, whatever the next steps, how to use this database, or maybe a cloud solution, how to create a simple application from Ubuntu or Windows and then deploy to the cloud and then use SQL Server Cloud, and how to use them, right? So thanks guys. So let's meet again with another session, maybe a couple of months or next month. So using ASP.NET Core, another interesting topic on Entity Framework Core, right? Thanks guys, bye, have a nice day.